You turn over to Matthew chapter 7. So over the last week or so, we're in the process of finishing up our soccer season, so trying to finalize the older kids. We always do a end of the season tournament where you have a winner. Ultimately, you're going to have a loser too, but more so than any other time over the last few years, I've had to have a conversation with several of our coaches and letting them know I don't do participation trophies. I used to do that, and I didn't like doing it when I actually did it, but we've moved away from that, and so it just got me kind of thinking about participation trophies. So Matthew chapter 7, beginning in verse 21, it says, "There not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven will enter. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name cast out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice." Go ahead and turn over to Philippians chapter 3. You know, in these few verses, Jesus is emphasizing the need for obedience, that you have to be a faithful servant. And even though we might acknowledge the Lord as master, using the title without obedience is useless. It means nothing. You know, I can almost hear this verse playing out before Christ where many are standing before him and they're expecting a participation trophy. Lord, I went to church. Lord, I prayed. Lord, I took my kids to church with me. Lord, I gave every Sunday. I participated. How come I don't get the reward? How come I don't get the trophy? It's like you can hear the Lord saying, there are no participation trophies in heaven. Depart from me. But you know, if I was a kid today, my mom and dad's mantle would be full of participation trophies, because we're going to display them because we're proud of them, right? You know, I've heard it said before that participation trophies, it's kind of like saying bless your heart. It's like, hey, you tried, you know, you were there. But the truth is, trophies become meaningless when everybody gets one. And while at least everybody that's probably my generation and older, you probably deplore the thought of participation trophies, we all want one. You know, way too many Christians, they sit on the sidelines spiritually, but yet they fully expect Jesus to say to them one day, well done, my good and faithful participant. But the Bible is very clear, a reward awaits those who serve Christ. Philippians chapter 3, in verse 13, beginning, it says, "Brethren, I do not regard myself as having laid hold of it yet, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and reaching forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus." He's working. I'm pressing on. I'm giving it everything I've got. I am serving. I'm not sitting on the sideline and just being a participant. Turn over to 2 Timothy chapter 4. You could probably guess that we were going to talk about this passage. You know, I think so much of Paul's letters, he really is trying to encourage the churches and encourage the Christians to keep on, keep fighting, keep working, keep serving. Because the reward is great, but the only way you're going to get the reward is if you keep on keeping on. In 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 6, it says, "For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure has come. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the course. I have kept the faith. In the future there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also all who have loved his appearing." That's all who are going to continue to serve until they have finished the race. You know, we often talk about, whenever we list the plan of salvation, at the very end, we talk about remaining faithful. In Revelation 2, verse 10, the latter part, "Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. I'm so thankful that just over the last couple of weeks that Elliot and Zoe have decided to start their journey, to start their race. But they've only just begun. And if it ended right now, they would be fine. But we've got a long way to go if the Lord doesn't return or if we don't die. And we have to keeping on. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep serving. That's the way that we're going to receive our reward. We're not going to get to heaven and not have served and expect just because we participated that we're going to receive the reward. And we can all do it with the help of God. We can do it with the help of each other, and the reward is worth it. And so I would just encourage all of us to keep fighting to the good fight, to keep serving as the Lord expects us to. And maybe tonight you have not started your race. You can do that tonight. You can start your race tonight. Don't leave here tonight if you haven't started your race and you know that there are things that are separating you from God, whereas if you died tonight that you wouldn't go to heaven. Make that decision tonight. Start that race. Maybe you have started your race and you realize that, you know what, I've been sitting on the sidelines. I've not been serving like I needed to have been serving. Get back in the race. If we can help you with that tonight, let us do that. We'll pray with you and pray for you. However we can help you in your service to God, please let it be known as we stand and sing the song that's been selected.
Get some